Update. Creaky Gamers. Hobby welcome.
Perhaps I can find new ways to motivate their hobby.
Okay, g'day viewers. This is a bit of a different video here where I'm just going to talk about my Chaos Army and a couple of battle reports with them as well. So as you can see, I've got more Marauders than you can poke a stick at there. And what brought this on was I had some Warcry warbands just sitting around doing nothing, and I thought, oh, the Wolves of the Sea, I can make an army out of these guys. So there's the Unmade. I rebased them from Warcry. These are my favourite ones. This is the Corvus Cabal, I think they are, from Warcry. And there's the Untamed Beast. So I thought, I had those three warbands sitting there, so I thought if I rebase them, I can have 3 units of Marauders. And then I remembered I had some other Marauders that I'd used for Aegis Sigmar as well in my Blades of Khorne army. So I've got more Marauders than I'll ever need. So they're my favourites, and also I've got the leaders from the warbands, which I'm going to use as like sorcerers, exalted heroes, and so on. So some unit fillers and stuff there, and then just going to count them as all having flails or whatever. So that's easy. So I've got 3 warbands out of my Warcry stuff. Probably got more laying around somewhere. I'll have to have a look. So that's the Untamed Beasts, and I've just used AK Interactive Fireland as the base with a bit of highlighting and some tufts, etc. So they're a bit of a work in progress at that stage. And some unit fillers in the middle there. So that was pretty good. Got those for nothing because I already had them. And there's some old Dragon Ogres. So I thought I'd rebase some old Dragon Ogres. And there's a dragon. That's a just a very cheap Reaper Bones dragon. And that's one of my favourite models, that guy. He's from the leader of the Corvus Cabal. I've got 2 of them. So I decided to put this one up there, and he's going to be a Demon Prince. And as you can see, there's some Blood Warriors. So I'm rebasing them as well. Got heaps of those, so I'll have plenty of Chaos Warriors. And there's the Marauders being rebased. So they're like Khorne Marauders, which will be perfect for Berserkers. And there's my the big guy, so he's going to be a Demon Prince. I wanted to mount him up a bit higher, so I stuck him up on a stick. And that's the finished product. So he's up there, so he's going to be a Demon Prince. Yeah, so that's my dragon. So let me know if you know of a 2-headed dragon model somewhere. There's the Dragon Ogres being rebased. And then I'll put a magnet on there, so I could put the Chaos Lord on there, or I could put a Sorcerer up there. Or I've got other models that will sit on there as well. He's off a Skullcrease, one of my other conversions and stuff. So the army started to take shape. So I rebased rebased these guys. That's still work in progress there. So thought I might have a small unit of Chaos Warriors for the Warriors Duel. And then the Dragon Ogres are getting rebased as well. And then I got onto some Skin Wolves. So I've just painting up a whole bunch of Skin Wolves. And then I got a couple of gigantic Chaos Spawns. So I wasn't sure what sort of mark I'd put on them. So they've got green and red and orange and purple. So they're all sorts of colours. So I could probably didn't have any idea about the army at this stage. Just thought I'd probably need some of them. There's the old Dragon Ogres rebased. And that guy there is like a conversion. He could be a Shaggoth or just another Dragon Ogre champion. There's my Sorcerer. I repurposed a Black Coach Steed into a demonic mount for him. So he could have that. I've also got another one. And then I thought, oh, maybe I could put a character on a chariot. So I got a chariot. So that's a chariot work in progress. And then I magnetized the back guy so I could, there's an Unmade, the leader of the Unmade warband. Or there's the Untamed Beast leader. Or my favourite is still the Corvus Cabal leader. There's another one, so he's going to go in the back of the chariot as well. So magnetise them. So I've got options for the chariot. There's the spawns, nearly done. Just got to finish off the bases. And there's the chariot, nearly done as well. So I've got another couple of chariots. I'd like to run lots of chariots if I could as well. There's the spawns, the twins. They're about ready. And there's the Skin Wolves, they're just waiting for their bases to dry at that stage. So first list, I'm going to run 3 units of 4 Skin Wolves. I want to try them out. So I've got 3 battle reports, which I'll put in here quickly because they're not the best battle reports. Things go wrong one way or the other. So we'll see how they go. So the first list is going to have some Chaos Warriors and a whole bunch of Skin Wolves, and the rest will be the Berserkers and my Demon Prince. So no dragon. The limitations on the Wolves of the Sea, you can't really have two like Lord levels. You can't have a Chaos Lord and a level 4. So I thought I'll try out a Demon Prince. Never used one. There's my Lord if he ever sits on the Chimera. But the Chimera can go frenzy. I suppose if you just make the Lord Corn, it's always going to be frenzied then for at least the guy on top. But anyway, he's magnetized as well, so I could put anybody I want up there. And there's the Blood Warriors, which would be my Chaos Warriors. There's the Skin Wolves. They're done. So got a heap of Skin Wolves. That's the boss. You can see there's a demonic mount there as well. So that's the rebasing of the army. So at this stage, I don't have any cavalry done. I've just got a whole bunch of marauders and the Skin Wolves. And so we'll see how we go. And I've got a game coming up against the Dwarves. So we'll have a look. So game number 1. So bear in mind, I don't know what I'm doing with the army at the moment. So there's going to be a few mistakes in this quick report. So some Chaos Warriors out on the flank. Going to steer the shadows them up the table, hopefully. There's my general. He's the Demon Prince. Demonic Plate Mail, Biting Blade, Spell Familiar. Favour of the Gods, I think. What else? Mark of Nurgle. So he's got everything. He's quite expensive, though. So we'll see how he goes. This is his first go. 4 Skin Wolves, so they're hide beyond the building. 4 more Skin Wolves, and these are 8 Berserkers. Screening those Skin Wolves. One of the giant spawn. Some more Berserkers in the woods because they have moved through cover. Out on the left flank, more Skin Wolves, giant spawn, and more Berserkers. And I have 3 more units of Berserkers off the table in ambush. And then the Dwarves, they've got a Gyrocopter and a Doom Seeker. There's a unit of Iron Drakes, big unit of 10 Iron Drakes with the Troll Hammer Torpedo in the middle there. There's the Anvil, nice looking Anvil. And there's another Doom Seeker. So you've got 2 Doom Seekers, so you've got to be careful where I'm going to bring my ambushes on. Can't really come up near them. Then there's a Thane on the Shield Bearers. And I don't know if that's the battle standard in there or is in the other unit. But anyway, they're just warriors, Dwarf Clan warriors, I think. And then there's some Hammerers. Hammerers or Longbeards? I think they're Hammerers. I think they're all Hammerers in that unit. And that might be the battle stand. He's a bit drunk, tipped over there. And then next to them is a new guy he's tried in his army, which is that little shooty guy. So this is the one that's all the rage at the moment. He shoots like a lot of shots. Every hit explodes and so on. So he's trying him out. And then the bane of my existence is always those damn scouts. So Rangers they are, right? There they are there. There's the Rangers. So that's the dwarf deployment. Okay, and so we're just going to have to rush forward into the Dwarves. We'll see what happens. But before we start, my favourite part of the Wolves of the Sea is the Warriors' Duel. So before you start, both sides pick a champion and they can decline. And if the Wolves of the Sea win the challenge, then they'll go first. So you pick a champion with 1 wound. And so out goes my Chaos Warrior champion with a Sword of Might, Charm Shield versus a Hammerer. And we both rolled to hit. We both got 1 hit each. And then the Chaos Warrior swung and he did a wound. And the Dwarf Hammerer swung and he rolled a 1 to wound. So if the Dwarf can save, the Dwarf rolls his save and he fails. So the Wolves of the Sea have won the challenge and will be going first.
Let's go. Turn 1.
Right, well, turn 1. There's nothing else for Chaos to do except go forward as fast as you can. and then hopefully I can get my ambushes on, maybe behind him or on his flanks or something like that. So we've just run forward, and I used Steed of Shadows on the Chaos Warriors and just threw them into the face of the Rangers. I've got a couple of buffs on them, and also when you win the Warriors duel, you get to roll. So that's the other thing for Wolves of the Sea. You get to roll on the Gaze of the Gods table. So I think he didn't get anything great, just +1 toughness for a turn or something. Got Demonic Vigor off on them, and yeah, Iron Skin on the champion just for this turn. And then in the Dwarves' turn, they're just going to sit still, as they usually do, and shoot. So no manoeuvring, just going to try and shoot as much as they can until my lines hit them. Then, yeah, so the Iron Drakes, and then this new little guy, the Scouts, are going to shoot my Khorne Warriors and make a mess of them. So they're just going to whittle them down. Things don't go too well for the Warriors of Chaos there. And then he's got his new little, I don't know what he is, the Thane, shooty Thane with his exploding rifle. And he decides to shoot some of my Berserkers. So he wipes out, we've got units of 8 Berserkers, trying to stick to the Khorne. They're disciples of Khorne, my Berserkers. So he shoots them and leaves only 3 left. The good thing is they're frenzied, so they don't panic, the Berserkers. I don't mind the Berserkers. I'm going to try different configurations. So he just ran 6 units of 8 in this list. They don't have any ranks or anything. There's only 3 left after the shooting from that one little guy. So he's pretty good, shooting at skirmishers, and did quite a lot of damage. Okay, then we into turn 2.
Turn 2.
Okay, so turn 2, my Khorne Warriors are going to have to charge the Rangers in the woods there. The champion's buff will drop off. The stand and shoot does a bit of damage, so I only get 4 Warriors in there. And then the Rangers rank up to them. They should have ranked up 1 wider, we discovered later on, so that he would have more attacks. Doesn't really matter. They beat up my Warriors anyway. And then I've just still rushing forward. I've stuck my Skin Wolves around the left flank here. Ran some Berserkers this way. The spawn's gone forward, and the 3 little sacrificial Berserkers are in the middle. And on the right flank, I'm just rushing forward with the other spawn and the Demon Prince. Yeah, so the Rangers beat up my Warriors. I didn't invest enough points into those Warriors. I should have given them a standard and a bit more sort of stuff to help them out. There was only 8 of them, I think. Then just a big mob going forward. Some Berserkers sacrificing themselves in the middle, those 3. We'll see what the Dwarves do in response on their turn 2. That little Slayer's going to go after the spawn, and he reforms facing that way. I got a couple of my ambushes on behind him. Yeah, so that little Slayer, there he is, he's going to charge the spawn, and the other Slayer's going to charge my 3 Berserkers in the middle. So his little Slayers are coming out. My ambushes came on behind and on the right flank there, so we're swarming on the flanks, trying to avoid the middle unit. The Demon Prince is just trying to buff himself up with some Gaze of the Gods buffs, etc. So that Slayer goes in there. He spends a couple of turns trying to kill them, and then this Slayer regrets his decision to charge the spawn. That's not going to go well for him. The giant spawns are very good for their points. A minor mark of Nurgle, so they're 170 points, but they are pretty good. So he beats up on the spawn there, but the spawn eats him eventually. I think in his turn the spawn eats him and overruns. He reforms the Iron Drakes to shoot the Skin Wolves coming around the flank. So he reformed facing that way, had a couple of pot shots at the Skin Wolves behind the building there that he could see a couple. The other Berserkers running around. So we're swarming on this flank, swarming on both flanks. And then here's a thing here that I probably got wrong, and I keep getting corrected one way or the other. The spawn eventually ate the little Slayer, and then he overran. And then I overran 3d6. Some people tell me it should only be 2d6 or 3d6. So I'll be happy to correct it either way. But I'm going to play it as just 2d6 from now on. But some people have told me, no, it's 3d6. Anyway, we'll work it out eventually.
Turn 3.
All right, so turn 3, Slayer into the Berserkers. He kills all of them eventually. And then the spawn is stuck in with the Iron Drakes, and it's going to take him a few turns to get rid of the Iron Drakes. And then the Rangers, well, they charge my Skin Wolves. They actually beat up the Skin Wolves. The Skin Wolves retreat back through, and then the Rangers are into the Berserkers. So the Rangers are just proving unstoppable yet again. And my Warriors will get into their rear, and they'll beat them up too. So the spawn's going to eventually get through those Iron Drakes. And then my silly thing I did was, my Demon Prince was really souped up now, extra attacks and strength and all that sort of business. So I charged him into the front of that unit with some Berserkers into the flank. And then this is where I made a very silly rules mistake, which I'll explain in a minute. But I thought he might do okay and might issue a challenge, and I think he declined the challenge because he didn't want to give me another Gaze of the Gods roll. And this is the mistake I made. Look, my Demon Prince is running away. I didn't realise, look, he's got a whole bunch of special rules, right? And I was reading up the unstable rule, because we lost that combat by 1 because of a musician. So I'm looking up unstable, and it says, he takes a wound, one wound, because they lost combat by 1, and he takes that wound before he takes a break test. I didn't keep reading his rules where he's unbreakable. So anyway, I did a break test for him and I rolled a double 6. Luckily, he ran away and got away, but he shouldn't have run. He should have stayed in combat. So that's sort of ruined the game for me there, because I've made a big mistake with my Demon Prince, not realising that he's unbreakable. And I'm going to learn over the next few games that you don't really send him into, there's the double 6 he rolled for his break test. So anyway, lesson learnt there. Your Demon Prince is unbreakable, but he's also unstable. Very, very dangerous to put him into a unit.
Turn 4.
All right, so turn 4, and those Rangers, they chased my Skin Wolves through there. They're going to hit the Berserkers. I charged the Warriors into the rear, but the Rangers are going to beat all them up. And the Warriors are going to have 2 Warriors left. There they are. There's the Rangers. I just can't kill them. Look at them. They're still all there. I've only done a couple of damage to them. They've chased everybody off. Won about 3 combats. I've only got 2 Warriors left, 2 Skin Wolves left over there. The only things that are doing any good here are the spawns, the giant spawns. They're pretty tough. Still have some Skin Wolves coming around the flank there. And there's my Demon Prince. He shouldn't be running away, but he is. And then the big Thanes unit goes into the another giant spawn. They drill out to be wider, so they get more attacks on him, but they're going to struggle to do much damage. Eventually, I think they might get through him. And then the silly thing is here, the gyrocopter's there. He's going to chase my Demon Prince, who's fleeing, who shouldn't be fleeing, but lesson learnt. I do these things so you don't have to do them. So that's caused a bit of a disaster there. The Demon Prince is going to get away, and he'll rally in turn 5, I hope. I only got a couple of Chaos Warriors left in the woods. There's my Demon Prince fleeing. That combat, I'm going to break there. The Skin Wolves are going to panic, and we're going to lose one as it runs through the gyrocopter. Yes, I lose that combat. But this spawn, he hangs on. It's pretty tenacious. I rolled a lot of 5-up regens, which really helped. All right, so just mopping up here. The giant spawns are going to hang on for a fair while, and then the gyrocopter chasing after the Demon Prince. The Demon Prince will rally and get back into the fight, but he didn't have any magic defense, so the anvil's doing damage to me as well. Got some Skin Wolves sneaking around the flank.
Turn 5.
Okay, well, I'll just give you a summary of turn 5 and 6, because I think we lost count of turns. We might have played an extra turn this battle as well, because we were both looking up rules, well, especially me, and getting them wrong. So the Skin Wolves, they need to pick their targets, so they don't want to hit anything too tough. That little shooty guy's causing a lot of damage. And the Warriors, etc., they beat up my Skin Wolves. I chased the gyrocopter, then I redirected into those Warriors, and the Warriors beat up my Skin Wolves. They're not really good at, well, I think they're hammerers anyway, so it was a bit of a tough ask for them. And then this spawn's hanging on there very well. But I did roll exceptional. Look, there's four sixes I rolled for regen saves, so it should have been dead like a couple of turns ago. And it's killing warriors, so it's doing okay, except I was pretty lucky. I wouldn't give that any indication of how good it is, because I did roll a lot of 5s and 6s for the regen, and also it can eat someone and heal a wound and so on with one of his attacks. So I'll keep winning combat there, etc., but pushing them back, but he's going to get hit in the flank. Some berserkers try to kill that Doomseeker. It doesn't go so well for them. The giant spawn there is going to finish off the Iron Drakes. Took him a long time though. And up the back there, my skin wolves charge the anvil, and they promptly get beaten up by the anvil and run off the table. So I lose 4 skin wolves. The ones up the back there, they charge the anvil. The anvil's toughness 10, so that was a mistake. And they break and run off the table. So that was a disaster. And then the Demon Prince has had enough of those rangers, so the Demon Prince goes over and tries to kill the rangers himself. Yeah, so he's going to go in there, the stand and shoot, etc. He survives all that. I think I don't even kill the rangers. He beats them up, but doesn't actually kill them. Eventually we get rid of them. This Slayer kills the berserkers. And then all those warriors, they eventually bring that giant spawn down. All right, the Demon Prince goes in there. A couple of turns, he's going to whittle them down. And that's pretty much the end of the battle. That spawn has fallen. Eventually there's just only the Thane on the shield bearers left. But it was a bit of a disaster for the Wolves of the Sea on their first outing. And stuffed up a few rules, and so lessons were learnt, and we need to design a new list for the next battle. Okay, so we had a rematch the next week because I'd stuffed so many rules up and so on, and we're fighting the Dwarves again. And I didn't bring any Chaos Warriors this game, so I've just got a Berserker champion for the Warriors duel. But the Dwarves declined the duel with my champion of the Berserkers, and I rebased a new Demon Prince. So this is going to be a Khorne Demon Prince. So I wanted to use him, so I swapped out my Demon Prince with all the magic and everything just for this guy, and then I've got a level 2 Sorcerer and the Demon Prince of Khorne. So there's my level 2 Sorcerer, and I swapped out a unit of Skin Wolves for some Dragon Ogres, but pretty much a lot of Berserkers, etc. again, and only 2 units of Skin Wolves. There's one of my little, that's a, what are they, Razor Gore. I converted him into a Demonic Mount, so I wanted to use him, so I put the Sorcerer, there's my champion on there, but I put the Sorcerer on the Demonic Mount, and this game was an absolute disaster. The Dwarves were a bit smarter this time. They brought the King, so they just sat in a corner, and I threw the Demon Prince away. He's a Khorne Demon Prince, so I just flew him over the top, and I thought, I can charge 360, so I can charge whoever I want. And then this was the mistake. If you're ever fighting Dwarves and they've got a King, you just don't attack the King's unit. And I sent that spawn into the flank of the King's unit, and that's another rules mistake we made, because during that, when that combat is selected, the King can move through the ranks and go over and chop up the spawn. So we made another rules mistake there. So this game was an absolute disaster. There's the King. He's moved over now. After a round of combat, we let him move over. But actually, it turns out, read page 209, I looked it up. The King can move through, the character can move into the fighting rank when that combat is chosen. So the King moves over there. He's brought the King with the D6 wound axe. So he does 4 wounds to the spawn, nearly killed him. And eventually they're going to kill the spawn. And there's my Demon Prince. He gets charged. He loses combat by 4, so he just dies for unstable. So there's a lesson learnt. And then we're just struggling to kill anything. The King's going to come and chop up the other spawn. My Skin Wolves are trying to kill the Rangers, and they just can't kill them as well. So the Dragon Ogres get killed by the Iron Drakes. They charge them, get beat up and killed by the Iron Drakes. These Skin Wolves might kill those Iron Drakes in the end, but the Iron Drakes killed the Dragon Ogres. I even resorted to Line Hammer here to try and kill the King's unit, but that was no good. And at the end of the battle, I had hardly anything left. So it was another massive victory for the Dwarves. So that was a disaster. So we go back to the drawing board, back to the mustering fields of the volcanic north, and try and find some new troops for battle number 3. Well, I've tried lots of berserkers. I had 6 units of 8 and run ambushing and trying different things with them. And I want to try maybe ranking some up, make some bigger units of 20, but I've got heaps, so I can do all sorts of combinations with them. And then I thought, well, I might need some cavalry, so I got some of the Age of Sigma, Darkoth riders. So they're pretty nice models, lots of detail, and I got some of the old Chaos Marauder cavalry as well. So I thought I might add some cavalry in the next one. So there's the old, they're pretty good models for the old Chaos Marauder cavalry. So I enjoyed painting them, so I've got plenty of cavalry now as well. So for the 3rd battle, it's going to be a Chaos Civil War. So we'll see if we can do any better. So I'll add some cavalry in the next one. Khorne Marauder Horsemen with flails. I think they're pretty good. And I'll use those guys as, what are they, the Huskarls. Try some of them. And got some other chariots that I put together. So I've got chariot options as well. I do like chariots in all armies, and I like that model on the chariot as well. So that's my favourite chariot. So I want to put you could put a sorcerer on a chariot, or just an exalted hero, exalted champion on a chariot. So there's the chariots done. And so let's have a quick look at the 3rd battle, see if we do any better. Okay, so a bonus 3rd battle report here. Our 3rd game was a civil war versus the Warriors of Chaos, and some Khorne Marauders, Dragon Ogres, a chariot, big block of Chaos Warriors, and in there he's got an exalted hero and a level 4 sorcerer. So there's the sorcerer on the corner. I think the exalted champion's next to him. He's got another level 2 out here. They both got one's got the ruby ring and the other bound chaos item, so plenty of magic missiles coming out of there. He's got some hounds screening a unit of Forsaken. It's a big block of chaos spawn and a giant spawn out on the left flank. All right, and then changes I've made. Well, I added the Marauder Horsemen, so they're Mark of Khorne with flails and a champion. Some skin wolves, only 1 unit of skin wolves. Got a couple of units of small units, and then there's my exalted champion with the ogre blade in favour of the gods riding a demonic steed, and he's joined the Huskarls. I've given the Huskarl champion the Helm of Many Eyes. There's the spawn. So the Huskarl champion, they got flails, and I've given them the Helm of Many Eyes so he can win the Warriors duel. And then I've decided to run a big unit of berserkers. Well, big, I mean 16. And another small screening unit of 5 out the front. Some more Marauder Horsemen there, and the other spawn is way out on the right flank. So there's the deployment. So this game goes a lot better for me mainly because I win the Warriors duel again, and the Helm of Many Eyes helps the Huskarl champion, the first sword from the Huskarls, win the Warriors duel. So we go first. We move up. And because his Marauder Horseman hid himself, actually, the Helm of Many Eyes, I failed my leadership test there, and so they went stupid and moved forward, which actually draws in a charge from his Marauder Horseman. So they're going to charge. And then in his turn, his dogs charge my Marauder Horseman. And so essentially the Huskarls are going to go bang, bang, bang straight through. And that's sort of pretty much game over after that, because the Huskarls with the exalted champion did very well on my left flank. And I just run the skin wolves and the other Marauder Horsemen. They sneak up way up the left flank. There's the Huskarls with the exalted champion. Yeah, so they're buffed up and everything. I put the Demon Prince up on the hill. The Demon Prince is buffing himself up. I've learnt my lesson not to send the Demon Prince in until he's really buffed up. So he's just up the top, throwing a few spells around and dispelling the other Chaos Warrior champions' spells and the bound items, etc. So those Marauder Horsemen will have to charge. We will counter-charge. And so basically the exalted champion with the Huskarl is just going to go bang, bang, bang through there, hit the chariot, and then hit the dragon ogres as well. And so that's sort of, that flank of his has collapsed because of the the Huskarls. They're not bad, but it's a bit of a, not telling me much this battle either. I don't really learn too much because he hasn't got any shooting. So I think that the Huskarls might suffer to shooting because they've only got like a 4-up save. I gave them shields as well. And then we have a spawn battle off here, and we work out that the Nurgle spawn is better just for the 5-up save. So we win that right flank. In the centre, his dogs charge some of my Marauder horsemen, but that's the big thing. His Marauder horsemen went in there, and then so the Huskarls have just gone through there. These guys are going to beat up the dogs, and then his spawn and his Forsaken are going to get into my Berserkers. But I rolled pretty well for my Berserkers, and he rolls really bad. So the Berserkers there, that unit of 16 hold there, holds them in place. And then I get my other Chaos spawn into the Forsaken and finish off them as well. So, yeah, so the Exalted Champion beats up the Chariot there. So that goes bang, and then they kill the Dragon Ogres because he's got the Ogre Blade. And so his warriors are stuck in the middle. And then, things go from bad to worse. His level 4 Sorcerer miscasts here and gets a Calamitous Detonation or something. So it's the big 5-inch template. Kills a few Chaos Warriors, wounds himself, wounds the level 2 standing near the unit as well. So that was a disaster. He's had a disaster on each flank, and then a double miscast because he miscast, and then the level 2, he miscast as well. So he's had 2 double ones in a row for casting. So that's an absolute disaster. And the Forsaken and the Spawn not killing these guys allows my Giant Chaos Spawn to get into the Forsaken. And then in the end, there's hardly any warriors left, so the Demon Prince goes in, and the Huskarls have turned around. So that's pretty much the end of the battle as well. So we won on both flanks, and his miscast, etc. But we both agreed that Chaos Warriors aren't much chop. And there's the Giant Chaos Spawn into the Forsaken. So he's going to beat them up as well. I think he does kill those Huskarls there. Berserkers. And I've got a lone Berserker over there, helps the Spawn finish off his spawn. And that's about when we call it quits. We just fight out this combat. But the Chaos Warriors go down as well. And he's champion. And I still have some Skin Wolves and some Marauder Horsemen out on that flank. So this was a disaster for the Warriors of Chaos. So I still haven't learnt much about my army. I like the Huskarls did well, but I don't think they might not do so well against a shooty army. But then I'm thinking maybe I could have some ambushing Berserkers, which could take care of some shooting. And the giant spawns could be a distraction. So we need further experimenting. So we had success, but the Warriors had a pretty bad game, that one. So that was game 3. So 2 disasters and then 1 disaster in the other direction. So I still haven't learnt much. Anyway, I think this video's gone on long enough. It was just a bit of a showcase of the army and what I've been painting and my journey with the Wolves of the Sea. All right, so anyway, I'll wrap it up here. I think I like adding the cavalry to it. That was a good idea. Ambushing small units could be handy if you're facing a shooty army. But the Berserkers, they just keep coming because they're frenzied, so they're not going to panic off the table. So lots of things to experiment with. The giant spawn are pretty good, probably undercosted. That's why they're so good. But the Nurgle one's the way to go because you need that 5-up regen save. Otherwise, they're pretty easy to take down, just like a giant maybe. But their combat is very effective, and the random movement and so on. So they're actually pretty good. And I think I like adding the option of the Marauder Horsemen, Khorne Marauder Horsemen. I could even put them in ambush in Wolves of the Sea if there was lots of shooting and stuff. Anyway, that's so enough random thoughts. I'm not sure about the Demon Prince. I persevered for 3 games with the Demon Prince. I'm not sure if that suits my style of play. I would like to try maybe a level 4 on a Chariot. Probably does the same job. Although the Demon Prince has got pretty much probably the same cost, and he's got some combat punch as well. So I don't know, I can't decide. Chariot, I like chariots, but maybe I'll persevere with the Demon Prince. Just be careful where I throw him in. All right, thanks for watching. This has gone on long enough. Okay, bye for now.
This show is awful.
Terrible.
Disgusting.
See you next week.
Of course.